Well, Craigs, looking ahead to tomorrow night, a great result to get you there. Hopefully another one tomorrow.
Well, it's going to be a big ask. I think with Airdrie being in League One, they've gone full time this year. They've got lots of good players. I managed to watch them in 2 different occasions, so I've been impressed with what Kevin's been trying to do and how they want to play, and their intensity in their play. The freedom he's allowed them to play with. So, I think it's a huge step up for us. There's no doubt Edinburgh City was a good test for us, but this will be a bigger test again. So, just another test for the young players to see how they progress, see how they can move on, see how they can progress their careers, and I just hope we can go and make an impression in the game. Is something I always keep saying to them. I hope we can go and not have any fear. Try and play free and open, but try and play to the structure and the kind of system we spoke about. And if we do that, then if we're competitive in the game, first and foremost, I'll be pleased.
You mentioned on the build-up to the Edinburgh City game that there might be an added physicality with the age gap. Do you think there'll be perhaps even more with that rivalry that is going to be there tomorrow?
Well, I don't know if there'll be a huge difference in age gap. I think Airdrie are quite a young side this year. They've gone full time. They've got a few guys in 19, 20 and in 21, 22. So I think what we'll see is better technical players. Certainly they'll be physical as well. I know Mark Fitzpatrick, who was here as a young player. Mark likes to put himself about and close people down and put people under pressure, as well as being good on the ball. So I think they have a good mix. But technically I think they'll be slightly better than Edinburgh City. They've probably more players who can hurt us. Their system's different than what Edinburgh City's was. They play without and out wingers. And when you come up with play against these sides, as much as the physical side of it, these games are won and lost on how you deal in 1v1 situations. If our young fullbacks can deal with their wide players, if our centre halves can deal with their centre forward, if our midfield players can compete with their good midfield players, that's what it boils down to. When you play against better sides and a higher class of opposition, you have to be better doing that. And if we can do that tomorrow night, then as I say, fingers crossed we can be competitive. And if we get something out of the game, then great.
Speaking of those 1v1 battles, what's the spirit been like amongst the whole squad, really, like individually as well?
Well, I think looking forward to it. I think that's the, when we beat Edinburgh City, there was a little bit of anticipation of who would get. Dylan Mackin, for example, was on loan at Airdrie last year. I think some of the players knew the opposition team as well. So, all that comes into it, but it's great. There may be, a bigger crowd. I think we had over 400 at the first game. I think Airdrie will be bringing a few tomorrow night. So, it's exciting for them. They want to play in competitive football. We keep going back to the Youth Cup final and then playing against Edinburgh City, and all these games are just to see how they cope. Their character, can they cope with the occasion of people expecting to win games, expecting to play in bigger games, crowd getting restless and maybe having a little bit of a go. So all these things come into trying to be a professional football player. The more we can expose these young players to this, the better. So tomorrow night's just another step for us on that occasion. And I just hope they go and do themselves justice. They work hard, they train hard, they love coming into the club, they want to be young footballers, they want, just want to play in the fantastic pitch we have here as well. So I just hope they do themselves justice.
And how are you feeling in terms of this people you have at your selection, all fitness and everything looking good?
Yeah, everybody's fine. We don't have a huge pool this year. We're probably down to about 14 outfield players and 2 goalkeepers. We've actually only got 1 goalkeeper. I'm looking to sign another one. So we're quite low in numbers. But we've got a great energy about us. We've got a great enthusiasm about us. We've got a bunch of players who want to listen and learn and work hard. And sometimes they're too honest and they're too open. They play too free. But I don't want to hold them back. Sometimes they play in games and it's like a basketball game. It's very open. But I don't want to curb their enthusiasm for it. We want to try and put a little bit of structure into it that gives us a chance to win games. But all in all, I think we're looking forward to it. We're pleased, we're happy, and I just hope that reflects in the performance.
Does the attitude of your players bode for hopefully for a successful season, do you feel?
Yeah, well, last season was very successful, winning the cup and coming 6th in the league. I don't think many people expected that at the start of the season. We were a new group coming together, so suddenly you want to try and improve on that, and you want to try and match that anyway. If we can do that, then great. But the young boys inspire me every day. I know I shout at them and roar at them and fall out with them sometimes, but just their enthusiasm and their appetite for the game. Their willingness to come in and work hard and go through sessions and take themselves in the gym and do extra work and have to look after their diet. It's tough as a young player. As much as it is exciting to be a football player, there's a lot of sacrifices to be made. But all those sacrifices come to the fore when you get a game like tomorrow night, when you get the chance to play in the stadium with a decent crowd against a good side. That's what it's all about.
Right, and all the best.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.